From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, April 12th. We've already had one 80-degree day this month, and we could hit another one today. Bright skies, lots of sunshine, with winds picking up out of the southwest a little bit more. Get to those upper 70s and low 80s. Our Storm Track 8 weather team says it's also worth noting that the highs tomorrow won't be too far from the record set in 1930 of 86 degrees here in Indianapolis. So we average about two 80-degree days every April, and this month we're on track to beat that. And happening today, no classes for Richmond community schools. Evacuation orders or shelter in place are in effect after a massive industrial fire. IU East also canceled classes this morning. Those students will go virtual today. Fire officials say toxic smoke from a burning recycling facility is dangerous. The fire is contained, but could smolder for several more days. The evacuation zone is a half mile around where the fire happened, which is an industrial building near Northwest F Street. Fire officials say it started yesterday afternoon in a trailer behind a building that used to manufacture weed whackers. The trailer was loaded with unknown plastics and other materials. The owner of the business operating in that building was citing for having so much clutter. State Fire Marshal Stephen Jones cautioned people about the dangers of inhaling the smoke and to stay safe.
The smoke is definitely toxic, and so I know we've put out an evacuation or within a half mile, I believe is what it is. And so we don't want the residents in the smoke. So as the wind changes, we may change the direction of the evacuations. And other than that, especially the elderly people have difficulty breathing, is to stay inside.
Jones says those who aren't evacuating are urged to keep windows closed and keep pets inside. The Wayne County Emergency Management has not lifted the order. For now, the city of Richmond is providing a temporary shelter at Bethesda Worship Center at 2200 Peacock Road. There's another shelter available at Oak Park Pentecostal Church. Authorities say one firefighter injured an ankle. No other injuries have been reported. Also today, a community vigil in Louisville. The city's mayor says the aim is to unite as a city to reflect and remember our loved ones. The 5 people killed and 8 more injured in the mass shooting inside a downtown bank. Today's vigil is at the Muhammad Ali Center Plaza. It starts at 5 o'clock.
It's easy to tell an officer that you have to run towards gunfire. It's another thing for them to actually do it. Anybody who's ever been shot at can tell you it is not fun. And it doesn't matter how many times you get shot at, it doesn't get any easier. Police
leaders are describing the actions of the officers wounded in the shooting, and they even released the body camera video of the 2 officers involved, Nick Wilt and Corey Galloway. It shows what they met as they went into this active shooter situation. It comes from those body cameras. Investigators say the shooter was inside the doors of the building, hidden by a reflection, and fired down at the officers on the street. The police department says Wilt is in critical condition but stable. A shot grazed Galloway, but department leaders say he managed to fire at the shooter, killing him.
Response wasn't perfect, but it was exactly the response we needed. I think I would love to have either one of those officers ride with me any day. They did absolutely exactly what they needed to do to save lives.
Police say the killer worked at the bank and knew his victims, but investigators are not yet saying what the motive may have been. An IT mate is uncovering new details about the suspected shooter and his ties to Indiana. 25-year-old Connor Sturgeon was from southern Indiana in Floyd's Knobs. IT mate's Cody Fisher went there and dug into Sturgeon's history.
I'm in Floyd's Knobs because we learned that Connor Sturgeon went to high school here at Floyd Central. And according to the school's website, his dad, Todd Sturgeon, is still a teacher here. The New Albany Floyd County School District did not respond to a request for comment about Connor Sturgeon's connection to the district. A member of the community who did not want to speak on camera told IT mate Connor Sturgeon played basketball at the school and that his dad, Todd Sturgeon, was the coach. They added that they were very surprised by the news that Connor killed 5 people at Old National Bank in Louisville. Roughly 20 miles away from where Connor went to high school, Louisville police executed a search warrant at his home. Police told IT mate Sturgeon left a note behind before the shooting. Louisville police say the 25-year-old legally bought the AR-15 rifle used in the shooting just 6 days before he opened fire at the bank, where he had been an employee for over a year. Police in Louisville will continue their investigation to fully determine a possible motive for the shooting. Reporting in Floyd's Knobs, Cody Fisher, Wish TV, IT Mate.
And today, a second Tennessee state lawmaker could be reinstated after his expulsion. Democratic Representatives Justin Pearson and Justin Jones were ousted by their Republican colleagues last Thursday after a gun control demonstration on the House floor. Nashville city leaders sent Jones back to the State House Monday. The Shelby County Board of Commissioners could do that today during a vote for that vacancy left. An Indiana-based group is getting involved in Florida politics. Safe Haven Baby Boxes is backing a bill that would allow fire stations and hospitals in Florida to install the boxes where new mothers could safely and anonymously turn over newborns. The bill would make the boxes legal. It would not require agencies to install them. Current Florida law allows mothers to hand babies directly to firefighters or hospital workers. The baby box measure already passed the Florida House. It heads to the Senate next, where it could receive a vote as early as this week. An Indiana Supreme Court ruling could soon decide on a class action lawsuit against Ball State over its COVID-19 policies. Arguments in the case began yesterday. Student Keller Melowitz is suing the university because he says it didn't give him a partial tuition refund when classes were moved online in spring of 2020. In 2021, the state legislature passed a law banning class action lawsuits over contract losses due to pandemic orders. An attorney for Melowitz says Ball State still violated its contractual agreement to provide quality in-person education. He says a class action is the only practical way to get the money back. Ball State's legal team says lawmakers clearly intended to limit COVID-related lawsuits as a matter of public policy. The judge says that she'll issue a ruling at a later time. Storm damage has the Whiteland Fire Department facing an uncertain future. After the severe weather on March 31st, the fire station was badly battered. Collapsed walls and a damaged roof. The building still stands. The fire chief tells us that crews cannot do their work out of it, though. Instead, the Whiteland crews are sharing space, working out of the new Whiteland facilities on the other side of 31. The next step for the damaged facility, waiting for insurance adjusters to put a dollar amount to the damage. The chief says it may take a few weeks to decide if the operation will stay there or need to look for a new site. And today, Whiteland is preparing for a fundraiser to collect money to help the storm-damaged town. No one in the Johnson County town was injured in the EF3 tornado that hit Whiteland just after 11:30 p.m. March 31st. But today, they're going to try to raise the money to help with all of the cleanup and damage and renovations that are needed. It begins at 12:30 on the Bailey and Wood parking lot. There'll be free food and music, so lots of fun while supporting a decent cause. And today, Whitestown leaders are set to vote on a proposed multi-million-dollar aquatic center. As we reported, the center would be built on an old junkyard lot that previously held contaminated soil. The Whitestown Town Council is scheduled to decide on the proposal at its meeting tonight at 7 o'clock at the town's municipal complex. A key group of congressional leaders now has access to the classified documents found in the homes of President Biden, former President Donald Trump, and former Vice President Mike Pence. The Biden administration released the information to the lawmakers who make up the Gang of Eight. The group includes Republican and Democratic House and Senate leaders and members of the intelligence committees in both chambers. Lawmakers have pushed for more information since the FBI found more than 100 classified documents in Trump's Mar-a-Lago home in August, and later discoveries from Pence and Biden. A judge has ruled that Dominion voting systems cannot bring up the January 6th violence at the Capitol during the company's defamation trial against Fox News. The judge said yesterday that invoking the insurrection would be harmful to the jury and that the case is not about whether Fox News influenced the riot. Dominion is suing Fox News for $1.6 billion, saying it damaged Dominion's reputation by repeatedly airing false claims that the company's voting machines rigged the 2020 election. Jury selection in the case starts tomorrow. The New York prosecutor behind former President Trump's indictment is now suing Republican Jim Jordan. Jordan is the chair of the House Judiciary Committee and is investigating Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's handling of the case against Trump. Bragg calls it a transparent campaign to intimidate and attack his office. Bragg filed the lawsuit yesterday. He asked a judge to block subpoenas Jordan has issued or plans to issue, including one for Mark Pomerantz. Pomerantz is a former prosecutor who oversaw the Trump investigation and sparred with Bragg over its direction. The judge didn't take any action yesterday. She instead scheduled an initial hearing for April 19th, a day before the committee plans to question Pomerantz. And to business headlines, as Jane King mentioned on Daybreak this morning, the Consumer Price Index was expected to come out, and it has. Came out at around 8:30 this morning. U.S. consumer inflation eased in March, with less expensive gas and lower food prices, providing some relief to households that have struggled under the weight of surging prices for nearly 2 years now. So this morning, the government said that the consumer price rose just 0.1% from February to March, and it's down 0.4% from January to February, and is the smallest increase since December. The Biden administration has begun examining whether checks need to be placed on artificial intelligence tools such as ChatGPT. There are worries that the technology could lead to harmful information, discrimination, and other problems. One option is that potentially risky new AI models should go through a certification process before they're released. Twitter is dead. It's all X Corp now. Court filings detail that Twitter no longer exists and that it's been subsumed by X Corp, Elon Musk's long-talked-up everything app. Musk has proposed that Twitter morph into an app that's part social media, part payment processor, and part vacation booking. Boeing delivered more jets in a single quarter than its arch-rival Airbus for the first time since mid-2018. It built 737 jetliners at a steady pace and cleared already built MAX and 787 Dreamliners from its storage yard. Airbus was hurt by parts shortages. Facebook is back online after a short outage left users unable to search for friends and events Tuesday afternoon. Ookla's Down Detector web tool says reports of Facebook being down soared, but was only out for about an hour. Tickets for this year's Kroger's Symphony on the Prairie are on sale now. The concert series includes 12 performances at Conner Prairie Amphitheater in Fishers. They begin in June 23rd, go until Labor Day. A couple of the performances include the music of Harry Potter and Aerosmith, the ultimate Aerosmith tribute experience. We've made it easy for you to see the other performances and buy tickets. Just go to wishtv.com and look for this story in the As Seen On section of our website. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.